Page 41, the toy. Some more music you can play for people. A recital, or if they just want to hear you play, they might enjoy hearing this. Assuming you can play it well. I look it over, it's about a page long. The clef signs are treble clef. Both are treble clef now. Keep that in mind. The key signature is 1 sharp. This is in the key of G major, so make sure you're doing the scale and arpeggio for G major and E minor. That's also 1 sharp. 3/4 time signature. Let's take it one hand at a time. Again, I want a fingering that lets me connect the notes if I can get it. 1 and 2 and 3. And then thumb. So we just changed hand positions on a repeated note. And then you have a measure and almost 2 measures to come down here. That's fine. Just lift up and come down. And reach up to the octave here and to do it again. Now 2, 4. And then thumb. And then my problem with that is a measure 12, 1, 4, is that the next measure I got here. That's hard to do. I want to connect them. So I got repeated notes in measure 12. I'm going to change from a 4 to a 2. This way I'm in position now for a 5. It's easier. So measure 11 is here. Then it's a 1, 4, 1, 2. And then reach up. Measure, come down. This doesn't work well for me on the last line. They have a 2, 4 here, and then they want a 2, 5. I don't like that. I want to connect the melody. I want to connect that with the finger if I can. I can't always, but I'll try. So in measure 16, we're okay. But in measure 17, I'm just going to do a 1, 4. And that's a half note. Hold it down here. And then now you bring the thumb down here. Here. And then come over. Use the thumb as a pivot and come over. 2, 4. And then come down 3. And then you can do a 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 5. I don't care. Just put a 3rd finger on that F sharp and the next to the last measure. So again, measure 16 is here, and then here. Thumb comes down, come over. Yeah. Left hand, let's see, we're up here in treble clef. 1. And then the 1 thumb here. And that's comfortable because that's you get them all there in measure 5. You get them all in 1 hand position. Problem is we got to go from here. Now you can do that, but in my mind I'd like to make this a little easier. So I might play the last note in measure 4 with 2nd finger. That way I can come under a little better. So again here, then 2, and then thumb. The staccato helps you do that because you're going to go here. You're going to do that, but I want to connect the notes first. I'll do the staccatos later. So I'm going to do 2. Then 2nd line. And then measure 10. And you do need the natural sign because there's an F sharp in the key signature. And here, 1, 3. If you fit. If you can fit up in here, that's great, because that way you're ready to go on. You connect them. If you don't fit up in here, then you can't do that. You got to do this, and then a 5, 1 this way. So measure 10 again. Do 2, 3, 2, and then a 5, 1, and then here. If your hands are big and your fingers are fat. Now, if you can fit. And the fingering in the book is fine. Here. Come up. Measure later, measure 16. And again, if you don't want to do a 1, 2 to here, because you got to come down here, and here. Then do a 2, 3 and measure, what, 17? And then a 5, 3 here. 5. So in the last 4 measures, you're here. I don't know how you're figuring this. However, but then in the measure 18, do a 2, 1. Come under. And 2, 3 here. This way I'm closer to where I want to be here. I don't have to go from here to here. I'm here. I can do here. And hold in the next last measure. Hold that low note down, sonatic half notes. 2 voices again. Then you just got to come down. Not much I can do about that. I can, but I won't bother right now. So the last 3 measures, the fingering I recommend is a 2, 1, 3, 2 here. And that way we can do a 5, 1 and here. It allows me to go from here to here without having to do that. I'm doing this. I can connect it. Then I put the hands together. See kind of a mess I've got. And then here, remember treble clef in the. And in the 4th measure, 1, 2, 3, and then lift up. The right hand's down there and then lift up. Down here. Down at the end. So it's a little tricky, it really is. But go through maybe just a line at a time or a couple measures at a time, slowly, and get rid of the hesitations. So it's a steady beat. And then once I can do it with no hesitations, more or less, then I try the articulation. I'm going staccato. Now be careful on these staccatos. When you come up like that on a staccato, you'll tend to accent it. Don't. It doesn't get an accent because you lift up, you tend to accent, you push off. No, keep it light. Yeah. And then here, and the tenuto lines here, hang on to those. And then, yeah. All right, look out. Measure 10. I have a staccato here, but not here. They're not the same. Here. And the measure 11, it's staccato, but not. So, here. Now, like on measure 13, you have an accent there. Accent here. But then you don't, measure 17. And then here. And then here. Hold that down. This is tricky because you got multiple voices and the hands going on and the articulation is different for the voices. It's like in the next to the last measure, the right hand's okay. Do that, but the left hand, that's a staccato, that's not. Most people would lift up the bottom voice too, like so, but that's not what's written. As far as lifting up on the next to the last, lifting that up with the staccato, that's interpretation. How would you interpret it? Right now, I'm not interpreting it any more than what the music tells me to. I'm not trying to hold it down. Later on, I might want to interpret it a little differently, and then I can do whatever. You see the articulation and the dynamics and all that? That's all part of interpreting the music. They're telling us a little bit about how to do it. And I'm guessing, because this is really, really old, that the composer didn't actually put in any slurs and staccatos and things, because it was up to the player to interpret it. Somebody, an editor, has added that stuff. And somebody else, a different editor, might do it differently. It's just a different way of interpreting it. Since I don't know for sure, we'll just use what's in the book. And then dynamics is moderately loud, mezzo forte, and then you go up to loud. Back down to moderately loud, and then measure 6, that's moderately loud, but then the right hand gets it, and the left hand's soft, and you go up to loud and back down, and moderately loud, and now both hands are they're gonna tap back and forth. And that makes that accented note a very loud note. Moderately loud, and put in the dynamics. The idea is right now we're forcing the dynamics, but you want to get comfortable enough with it and into it where you're not thinking about mechanics and you're feeling the dynamics. You might feel them a little different. I think that's fine because I'm sure the composer didn't put in the dynamics. Somebody else has done it. However, until you can get into it and feel it, do what they tell you. Then the speed, they don't give us speed. How fast can you play it accurately? The toy tells me it's probably kind of on the happy side. I have no idea. It's got to be accurate, so what can you do accurate? Have a fermata at the end to hang on to that. Just hang on to that for whatever feels right. It's a little rough, and I should work on it a little more, but that should give you an idea what it sort of sounds like. If you like Renaissance style music, this is wonderful. Go for it. There are some questions at the bottom about what key it's in and all that, and what's a pause mark. Draw a pause mark. They're calling a pause mark that fermata at the end. The dot with the half circle, they call it a pause. A pause is actually a different symbol. So that's a little dangerous to call that a pause. It's called a fermata, and you hang on to the note longer. They're saying you pause on the note. You hang on to the note longer. How longer? Whatever feels right. Usually you can double the value. It sounds good, whatever, but you don't have to. Just what feels right.